Hey everyone, welcome back. You know, when the trades are executing nicely on your chart, like I'm showing now, it looks beautiful. So today, this is stream number 9 of the Christmas special or holiday special that I'm preparing for you. I would like to talk about having these bots that I've shown you that were running on 3 ported directly to an exchange and to have them set up directly on an exchange. So I have 3 exchanges open here, OKEx. I also have Pionex and Bitget. And there's obviously more. We discussed this a few videos back. And most of them are now allowing to create native bots. So you don't need any additional platform. You don't need to pay for 3 or Miser, and you can set up a bot directly in an exchange. So that's what I want to discuss with you and present to you today. One of the bots that I've shown to you is this Bitcoin bot, and it has one of the settings that I had also shown to you, DCA settings that I used to call, well, either wide or mini, but the point is that there is the step scale and the volume scale, which I kind of use as a default for my DCAs. For the step scale, I use 125, and for my volume scale, I use 115. So what remains different is the deviation, and for the bot that I used to call wide, this value is set to 2.5. And the number of safety orders can vary. So for Bitcoin, when I was trading Bitcoin, I used to have just 3 safety orders. What you can also see here on this bot that I'm showing is the deal start condition. So you can see what's prompting the bot actually to buy, to enter a position before it gets to this whole DCA business, right? So this is very important as well. And RSI, I have it also here open in this Investopedia page. Relative Strength Index is one of the most popular, most common, and I also think one of the most kind of working strategies or indicators that you could use for your bots. So give it a read if you're not familiar with RSI, and it's very simple to understand. Basically, when the price gets to this oversold zone, oversold level, it might be a good time to buy. On the other hand, when it's overbought, usually it may indicate a drop. So that's the idea of this RSI strategy. And right here on that bot, that's what I'm using for the deal start condition. So 3 allows you a lot of different strategies. And again, you can take one and tune it quite a lot. So even just for RSI, you can see there is the length, time frame, and the value. And you can nest them. So for example, I could say something like this. I could do something like this, right? And there are many others, right? So I don't think I will go so much into the deal start conditions in these short segments that I'm doing during the holidays. I will just stop with the RSI, but really there are a lot of different interesting strategies there as well, and they can make your bots very effective. So stopping with RSI, discussing a strategy about with RSI, I also want to show this to you visually, and I have this now open in TradingView. So in TradingView, I opened one of many indicators that are available for RSI. So just go to indicators. The one that I had opened right now on the screen is this one by AT Spain. Not sure what it is. It's just one of the first ones I opened because I could configure the links. So I added it here to my TradingView. And I configured this exactly as 3 commas allows. So I put the links 7. And then if I drop down to 3 minutes, we can examine how this looks. So 3 minutes is a very short time interval. So we are, again, probably looking to kind of scalp, not to have long price momentums, but it could still be useful. So you can see whenever the price drops significantly, we have these RSI's value quite low. The shaded pink area stops at 30 here. So everything below 30, below the shaded pink area, potentially could be a good buy. So right here, maybe even you could say even below 20. So right here. Well, Sam, I'm watching that. So thanks for commenting on the video. Right here, maybe even, right? It's below 30. So maybe that would have been a very good place to buy, and so on. So this is how this particular RSI condition would work. And the other part of your successful bot strategy is actually choosing a coin that you think has a good potential. And all coins will have drops, all assets will have drops, but will they recover? So this drop, for example, here you could have been buying that right here, but the price would continue dropping. Here, this is where the DCA would then help you to accumulate a larger position and get out, hopefully as soon as the price goes back up. So we covered the deal start condition. We rediscussed again the DCA part. And now we go to our exchanges and we see if we can set up exactly this bot without 3 commas. So I have 3 of them open: Pionex, OKEx, and Bitget. Now in Pionex, that's one of the early exchanges that allowed native bot trading. So it had a built-in functionality. And it's a good one. They continue to expand their functionality. So I do recommend it as well. Where do we go? Spot right here on the top menu, trading bots. So like this, and we will see this interface right here. And there's a number of kind of templates that you could use for creating a bot. So the DCA bot that we use the terminology DCA bot in 3 commas is normally called martingale in other platforms. So here it is, spot DCA martingale. You could do this on futures as well, but as we've been mainly covering spot with you, and I think it's fine to trade on spot, with the good strategy, we are going to continue in this video too. So let's click on create, and I'm on the same coin, RNDR. All right. So now let's try to go through this together. We have either AI strategy or something we can do ourselves. Now in Pionex, you can see immediately that there is no deal start condition. We can have kind of like an ASAP mode, non-stop mode. We can say, well, if the price drops, we're going to start buying our position here. And we have volume scale, we have number of safety orders, and that's about it there. So the volume scale, just to remind you, I use 115 and then the step scale 125, and my deviation is 2.5. So on Pionex, you could do something like this, 2.5, then investment, whatever you would have there available on exchange. Volume scale 115. Okay, and now you can see that Pionex doesn't allow me the second digit. I just cannot click. So I either need to have 1.1 or 1.2. Cannot be more precise. And then I would specify the safety order number. So for example, 8. And finally, I would need to specify a profit target. So profit could be, for example, 1.5%. So I think that's reasonable. And you could start this bot and it would run natively. I already have some bots running here on Pionex. So all my funds are used up. And they're working fine. I restart them occasionally, change them, modify the fonts, so they're running natively. So from what you could see on the previous screen, there's not so many options. If you didn't have the deal start condition, DCAs were almost the same, but not the same. But finally, this could work. So you can see some of my bots are running and they're making profit. There's some unrealized losses. That's okay. Jumping to OKEx real fast, we proceed with the same. So I go to trade, then I go to trading bots. All right, click here. And then I go to DCA, and we can do futures DCA or spot DCA, and I click on create. So let's see what the interface allows us to do on OKEx. All right, so spot DCA is selected here. This is the interface I have. Some people, what's good on most of the exchanges, I think it was the case for Pionex, is the case here for OKEx as well. Some people are already running these types of bots, maybe slightly different settings, and you can see either real performance or back-tested performance of these bots. So this is a yearly kind of forecasted value. It's not that huge, but it's okay. Now I want to create my own, so I will not copy what I'm being suggested by RSI Strategy. I'll just click on manual. So let's see what I'm allowed to do. So this shows me visually my DCA. I can need to always look at these advanced settings. I can specify my take profit, so 1.5. The price steps here, I think that would be equivalent to safety order step scale. So for the price steps, the first one is 2.7. That's the initial deviation I have from the base order. So this is the initial order. This is the base order, nicely shown here. And then if I look down, I can have the step multiplier, right? So step multiplier is this step scale. So 125 I have. So 125. Now you can see visually how that a wide setting of mine would work. And amount multiplier I have as 115, right? These are the settings that I derived, and I'm using them everywhere. So DCA looks fine. We could start at 1. I could change the number of safety orders if I want. Maybe 8 is too many. Maybe 6 would be enough in this case. And well, again, we don't have the deal start conditions. So essentially, if I were to create and start this bot, it would be a non-stop kind of ASAP bot. These strategies are also okay. And in the bull market, actually, they tend to produce high results because you just blindly throwing this net of DCAs and you're buying, you're accumulating your volume, and then you're selling. But if we are not in a bull market, then it's good to have a nice deal start condition. Like I was showing you here, it's nice to buy low whenever we can. Sometimes we are successfully buying low, and then we can benefit from the price increase. Sometimes we think we're buying low, but the price keeps dropping. So no deal start condition here. Let me then finalize this demonstration with Bitget. That's another exchange, one of the top 5s, as we have seen in my previous videos. And again, now the interface is quite standard for all of these exchanges. We go to top menu, we find the trading bots. We're looking for martingale. Let's go there. And if you can find the coin you want to trade, that's good. Let me do that. Go to manual. And basically, that's almost like a copy, right? That's almost like a one-to-one copy. I think I have seen somewhere a deal start condition on some of the exchanges. Now I cannot recall where I saw it. But unfortunately, that's not common. There are also, so there's not so many built-in functionalities for strategies. There's definitely DCA strategy available, DCA settings, but there is no built-in strategy such as an RSI and so on. In these exchanges, you can have your trading bots that trade with a signal. So they are called a signal bot. And you could basically create a signal bot. It could have a DCA or maybe no DCA, and it could take your signal from the trading view. So you can configure alerts. For example, you could say as soon as the RSI drops below 20, or you could say maybe whatever 12, on that particular configuration, on this particular time interval, I will send an alert to my OKEx account, and my bot, my signal bot that I would configure, will perform a buy. So this is possible, and with all of that, you can actually avoid 3 commas. So then the question is, well, what's the benefit of using 3 commas? And to me, the benefit is that if you are using multiple exchanges, 3 commas consolidates all of that into one place. So they support quite a few exchanges today. Let me open this page now. So they support Binance, OKEx, Bybit, KuCoin, and so on, right? You can see it here. Coinbase, Crypto.com, Gate.io, Gemini, HTX, Kraken. Some of them support only spot. Some of them support spot and futures. So essentially, you could have, if you have multiple exchange accounts, you could have them all under one place, and you could control and change and manage your bots from one account. That's one reason why you would want to have a platform like 3 commas. Second reason, of course, is that you have a lot of different strategies. You don't even need to buy TradingView subscription. so that you don't need to create alerts, kind of find look for indicators. You could just explore the indicators from these 3 commas presets essentially. And that's the second reason why you would want to possibly invest into this platform. Hope this video was useful for you. As before, I would like to share with you one code that you could use for getting 1 month of Pro subscription. So I think it's about $5 or $6 that you would pay with this code. It's 90% discounted. So it's not free, but it's 90% discounted for 1 month for you to give this a good try. And this has been our 9th video. I promised I'd do 14, so 5 more to go. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you find them useful, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.